Imagine for a second you saw a child who is vulnerable. Well, half of the world's children face violence that's unimaginable. They're frightened, exploited and hurt. It's unacceptable. We can help stop this now and make a child's hope achievable. For every child you help, 4 more are made capable. If you believe all children are educatable, defendable and incredible, help end violence against vulnerable children. If you are willing, they're able. Sponsor a child today.
This is a report from Save the Children. These scenes at Chiamala Hospital in Central Africa may look like an emergency, but we see this throughout the world every single day. Among the new arrivals, we found Kayembe. So frail he can no longer stand, Kayembe is almost 2 years old, but his weight is less than half that of a healthy child his age. Kayembe needs food, and he needs medicine urgently. These are the basic things that you can help us provide by calling the number on your screen now and giving just £2 a month. Save the Children know what it takes to save a child's life, but we need your help. Because tomorrow, we'll see more children arrive, and the next day.
S'il n'y a pas assez de nourriture à donner aux enfants, les enfants vont mourir.
Please pick up the phone now and call 0800 035 6330 or visit our website and give your £2 a month. For a child as critically ill as Kayembe, a single phone call can make the difference.
There we have it. 2 ads from World Vision Save the Children. So they're a little bit old now, but for me, I just think it's such a great topic to talk about. It's a space that I've played very heavily in, know it well. And the conversation I'd really like to have is not only the ad that we think is going to have the best performance or the ad that we know has the best performance. I want to dig in and I want to get neuro.
Okay. Well, why don't you kick out? So I think what a good thing to point out is, and I think the audience got this, the big difference is they're shooting for the same exact target. It's just one of them has gone with a positive message. Here's the change you can make and what it will look like. The other has gone with the in-your-face message. Here's how bad it is right now. Here's what's going on, and that's why we need you.
Those themes are important because if you're looking not-for-profits, they have moved in the direction of a positive feel-good ad for 2 reasons. It's A, where they want to go from a brand style perspective. There's also some legislation or there's some policy around it as well that they can't actually leverage some of the harder hitting imagery they once could. More so in Australia, not so much globally, but in Australia, there's definitely some policy around that. But for me, when you're looking at this and I'm looking to raise funds, how do I do it? When I look at this, it's really obvious. This is all about emotion. This is about allowing the audience to feel what is going on and to resonate with it. I want them to feel pain. What's the number one way a viewer is going to feel pain? If I'm looking not-for-profit, is a child in distress, a child that is in a situation that they should not be in. For me, I'm like, that is horrible. That should not be happening. I am now charged up. I want to do something. I want to have an impact. And they flip. So the structure for this ad is pain, pleasure, pain, pleasure. So they show you problem, solution, problem, solution. On the flip side, if you look at World Vision, they have some imagery in there that could be a little bit painful. But the music all the way along is this happy track, you know, and it just does not correlate and it does not allow the viewer to feel the pain. So there's no pain, there's no leverage. No leverage means there's less action. So if you're looking at direct response as such, you want more people to take action, not less, which means I want more people to feel and then they can take action. And the solution also needs to be simple. So the solution is just $10 a month. And I really like your quote. It's actually out of your book. So if you're looking at TV contextually, TV predominantly is a relatively happy place, you know, apart from the news, especially with what's going on now. But in a sea of sadness, joy stands out. But in a sea of joy, sadness wins.
So let's break this down now neurologically. What's going on inside the brain? So I guess you've got kind of several mechanisms here. The big ones, the primary one is going to be your empathetic resonance mechanism. So you've probably heard of this concept of mirror neurons, this idea that whenever you watch an action, a behavior happening, you start to imitate that in your own mind as though you're doing it. Now, if you've ever heard of the term mirror neurons, throw that out of your lexicon. There is no such thing as a mirror neuron. That was just a theory we were playing with. In actuality, it's just that we cannot stop ourselves from imitating other people. When I move my hand like this, if I could take a picture of your brain, it would look as though you're moving your hand just like this. That's how we develop empathy. Now, hit me with a kid having a good time drawing, coloring. Boom, I'm going to feel that. I'm going to look like that. I'm going to pretend I'm doing it myself. I'm having a good time. Hit me with a kid who's dying. Oh my goodness. Now I'm going to try to feel like that, but it's going to hurt way too much. And what's going to happen is now I'm going to trigger a stress response. My body, because I'm imitating this pain, is going to start trying to protect itself. And one of the first things that happens when you hit that stress response, and you all felt it when you saw that kid in the beginning of that ad with the ribs, you all felt it, guaranteed. That initial jolt that goes to your body, that's cortisol flooding through your system. And what happens is in your brain, cortisol moves straight into the memory centers and it says, whatever the heck just caused this, form a deep memory for this. So there's a whole mechanism that goes into it. But all you need to know is when you have that cortisol in a short term, boom, that's something you're going to remember longer. It's a safety mechanism. Your system is built to say, if something causes you stress, remember it so that you don't make that same mistake in the future, so you can avoid it later. The problem is people hate stress. So what tends to happen is after we get a stress response, we try and avoid that stress. We try and shut it down as quickly as possible. I'm not kidding. There was an ad just like this one on TV last night with animals. I can only get about 10 seconds into it and I have to turn the station. I will not keep watching it because it feels too uncomfortable for me. Intuitively, my thought would be a very painful, harsh message to see, like the Save the Children one, would intuitively be more powerful than the Vision Australia. What was the other one? World Vision ad at the front end. But if you actually saw the returns on the medium of TV, I'd be really curious to see which is doing better. Because I know live, if I'm walking down the street and you show a dead kid to me and you say, you can help this kid by giving me $10, I'm going to give you $10 right away because that's how I absolve myself from the stress and I keep moving forward. On a TV ad, I can't get rid of it immediately. I have to call somebody. I have to go online. I have to do something with it. And if all I'm trying to do is get away from it, I don't know if that's going to lead me down the track to do this extra work. So live and in person works really well. On TV, I'd be curious to see if it works as well as doing that kind of painful stress stuff.
This for not-for-profits is and historically been one of the most powerful new client acquisition or donor acquisition platforms.
Yeah.
Direct response TV is phenomenally powerful. But where people get it right, it is amazing. Where people get it wrong, it falls on its face real fast. So, and it's interesting. So your response to that ad was to switch off.
Yeah, I can't. I hate it. I hate looking at that stuff. I hate thinking about it.
Imagine that ad and you'd seen it and been exposed to it 10, 15, 20 times. After 3 or 4 times, you're probably just like, oh, I've switched a few times. I'm just going to roll through it. With pain, here's a really interesting one. The pain has got to be easy to understand and digest. Yeah. The solution or the pleasure needs to be very, very simple. So this is where malnutrition is the best performing because I go, they just need some food. So food or water is a very easy solution. As soon as you start getting into complex topics like child sex trade or child labor, it's like, oh, that is like really uncomfortable to watch and understand and see what's going on. But the solution is not, what's my $10 really going to do? Can you actually help someone? Like, what is that actually really going to do? Whereas food and water and sort of your basic needs, it changes the game quite a bit. So that's where you got to elicit the pain. It's got to be simple, but the solution has to be easy and simple as well. And that journey's got to be fast. Yeah. So online, straight there, and you're donating in a matter of minutes rather than a complex client acquisition funnel as well. And that's a challenge with not-for-profits. These problems they face are incredibly complex.
Yeah.
It's not just about providing food or water. That is part of it, but it's only a part of it.